Apologize about my dog right now because he's being a little puppy and just being whiny today.
All right, well, we are recording, so we are back together to do our second group synchronous activity, and this is the success bombardment activity. Claire, Olivia, and I are the three left on our team. It sounds like everybody's having a crazy summer so far. We're all trying to keep up between work and school and everything else. You're supposed to be having some relaxing time, but all right, I will read through the instructions. And we talked about this for step one, the individual success analysis. Let's see. So the introduction to this activity: for healthy personal and team development to occur, it is essential for team members to be able to deal effectively with their own positive strengths and successes, as well as those of others. Perceived weaknesses and failures are often allowed to be so influential that they can dominate a person's self-image. Inputs from one's social environment frequently reinforce the negative. To counter this and to develop a team's positive environment, this exercise is designed to provide opportunity for each team member to describe his or her successes in life, big or small, and to receive positive feedback on how others in their team view these successes. Now, in this first step, each team member is to fill out the entire success analysis worksheet. The purpose of the worksheet is to assist each team member in organizing a 5-minute oral presentation to be given to their teammates that describes the successes he or she personally has experienced or anticipate experiencing, and the reasons why each was viewed as a success. So it says to allow 12 to 15 minutes to complete this worksheet, but we had talked about looking at it ahead of time because it's hard to think of successes on the spot, but I started making a few notes on mine. If you guys need a few minutes, we certainly have time to give that so that you can kind of work through your list of successes. And I'm not sure if you guys have started yet, but it also says to list the reasons why you were successful. And I wasn't sure if that meant the things you did to make it successful or what happened that you classify it as successful. So I kind of did a little bit of both. I'm not sure if either of you have thoughts on that.
I feel like you could go either way.
Okay. And you can go ahead and work on your successes and just let me know when you're all ready.
Okay, I think I'm done filling that out.
Okay.
Do you think it's okay if like one of our successes in the past week is like one of our success, like 1 through 3?
Well, I counted my most successful experience as one of my first 3, so
I would think it'd be okay.
I would think so too. It's kind of hard to think.
I know. I just keep thinking of like high school. I felt like I did a lot in high school, and like I graduated in 2015. So it's like I feel like I did so much in high school.
Well, you're doing a lot right now, so
yeah,
some days it feels like just getting yourself out of bed is an accomplishment or a success.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, it is freezing in the room that I am in.
Probably if you just got done working out too.
Yeah, and then I came into the bedroom, and the bedroom's like the coolest room in the house. But yeah, I'm ready when you guys are.
Okay, I think I'm ready too. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first?
I can.
Like as a listener.
What'd you say?
What do we have to do like if we're listening?
Well, let me read the step 2 so I don't make sure we don't miss anything. Step 2 says once every team member is finished filling out their worksheet, then each member gives his or her 5-minute presentation to their teammates. It tells us who goes first. Beginning with the person whose birthday is nearest to today's date. Okay, when's your guys' birthday?
March.
November.
Mine's October. I'm sorry. So I think that's you, Olivia. Let me see here. As each member talks, the other team members are to quietly and intently listen for the speaker's strengths, gifts, skills, and abilities. When listeners identify a speaker's strengths, gifts, skills, or abilities, e.g., caring, honest, responsible, hardworking, they are to jot these down in order to be recalled or shared with the speaker once his or her presentation is finished. It is essential that participants listen for a speaker's strengths instead of thinking about what they are going to say when it is their turn to present. So I guess that there's a benefit of going first, Olivia. You don't have to worry about thinking about it. You'll be able to focus on listening.
Right.
And then after the presentation is completed, each team member, one by one, takes turns sharing with the presenter the various strengths, gifts, skills, and abilities that he or she has noted. And once every team member has shared with the presenter, then the next teammate makes his or her presentation.
Okay. Okay, so for my first success, I've been nominated onto National Honor Society. We had to fill out a scholarship, and you had to have like a 3.25, I think, GPA or above. And I had a 3.86. And then within the NHS group, we did numerous activities. And one thing we did was we did a chuck a duck at a basketball game to raise money for 2 people in our communities that had cancer. And then my second one was at honors night. I received a science award, and I was the only one in my class that received it. And the 2 science teachers were the one that picked who got that. My third success, I had Student Senate, and I was nominated onto that And then we have done can drives for 4 years through that at school. And then we cleaned out a community pond, just other different activities throughout the school. And then my most successful experience I have being accepted into the radiology program. And there's only 12 people that were accepted out of like 50 applications or something like that. And then I'm the only one in my class that's straight from high school. And then the one success during the past few weeks, I'm graduating from high school with honors. And I had a medallion for having in between a 3.75 and a 4.0 GPA. And then for the one anticipated success in the next few weeks, I have passing the challenges that we have in lab for the radiology class. I think that's it.
Well, that's pretty impressive, especially at such a young age. Those accomplishments actually show to me your dedication, your integrity, your obviously hard work, and I can see that actually in the effort you put in this class, and how you ask questions, and you're trying to make sure you're doing everything correctly. So I can see that you're engaged in everything you do and put a lot of effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, how you've been so successful, I think. So very, very impressive.
Well, I think especially with you mentioned like your student senate, and then I know a lot of friends that were in NHS, and just like with honors and everything, I think it shows you're a really good leader. And I think especially since you were admitted into the radiology program, 15 out of 50, I think you said, mm-hmm. and straight from high school, I think you're going to be an awesome leader in radiology, and especially being so young. You remind me actually a lot of my sister. She's a pharmacist, and we moved schools because she wanted to be in block scheduling, and she decided she wanted to be a pharmacist when she was a freshman in high school, and then she was admitted directly into the pharmacy program as a freshman in college, and then she's worked at Hy-Vee since she was 14, and now she works here as a pharmacist, and they paid for like all her schooling, and you remind me a lot of her.
Thank you.
Olivia, what do you think has made you so successful? Do you think that, are you naturally smart and don't have to work very hard, or do you think that you're...
there's definitely things that I have to work hard for, and just like having the dedication to get through it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what I always tell my kids, is sometimes it doesn't matter how smart you are, it's how hard you work, and that goes a long way. And I can tell, obviously, with the things you're doing, that that requires a lot of effort. It's not something that just a natural gift.
Right. Yeah, you like more of like a science and math person?
Yep.
Yeah, see, like my sisters, they're twins, and so like the pharmacist is math and science, and the other one is like reading, business, and it's funny because they're like complete opposites.
Oh, that's unusual. That's
funny.
Well, very impressive, for sure. Anything else to add?
Nope, I think that was it.
All right. I guess my birthday's next, so I can go next if that's okay with you, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
For my successes, one of the first things I listed was raising 3 kids. And, how do you define that you successfully raised 3 kids? And I guess everybody would define that differently, but I guess
I'd say giving birth is successful.
It is. That's, that's difficult. Actually, I can't complain too much. My husband doesn't think labor is difficult because mine were pretty easy. And I don't know, maybe that was a sign of how my kids were, because I feel like my kids have not been very difficult to raise. Not to say that's, it hasn't been without some issues, but I would say the reason I was successful, or we were successful, is they turned out to be good kids. I mean, they do well in school, they're active, they're just nice people. So if that defines success, I don't know if that defines success for everybody, but it does for me. And I think some of the reasons why I was able to do that, patience. I have a husband and family, so that helps to raise kids because, as the saying goes, sometimes it takes a village. And luckily I was able to be attentive. I had a good work-life balance and was able to be attentive to make sure that they were doing well in school and got to participate in activities. So they're pretty well-rounded. And, not everybody can do that. You have to work long hours to support your family. But luckily, I feel like that contributed to being able to raise my kids successfully just because I was able to be there for them. So for my second success, I put being married will be 25 years this year. Again, why do I think that's successful? Well, 25 years is a long time to be with one person, and patience is one of the reasons we've gotten this far, for sure. Again, we have a good support system, family and friends, so that makes it, gives us options when we have to work through things. And just being able to talk to each other, respectful, even when things aren't always easy. But it's interesting because we will have been married 25 years this year. My husband's parents will have been married 50 years this year, and my son gets married this year. So every 25 years it's been a marriage. And so far, so good for everyone. So I put my third success as returning to work full time, which I did 7 years ago. I wasn't sure that I would ever do that, which is probably why I hadn't gone back to get my bachelor's degree before now, because I didn't ever think that I would be in a position where I would need it. But it has turned out to be very successful. I love cardiology. I love nursing. In my role as in the quality department, I'm always working with staff to make sure that we're providing the best care to patients. I want patients and staff to be happy. And when I was talking about I was talking to you, Olivia, about what do you think makes you successful? I'm not the smartest person there, but I think some of the things that have made me successful is listening, being organized, and being responsive to patients and staff. So I don't always have to have the right answer or know the answer, but listening and letting them know that if I don't know the answer, we'll figure it out. And sometimes we just have to figure out the answer ourselves because there isn't a right answer. So I think that has helped me be successful in my job, because it can be challenging sometimes dealing with when there are problems. For my most successful experience, I put being married 25 years. Just because it's hard. It's hard to live with somebody. You have expectations probably every day that aren't being met, because you're expecting one thing and he's expecting something else. And there's so many things you have to agree on, from, how to raise your kids to what to spend money on to even little things about what to have for supper tonight. So, sometimes it's easy to love someone, but sometimes it's hard to like them when you live with somebody. So I feel that that's very successful, and not a lot of people stay married anymore. So that's why I call that my most successful experience. One success that I had during the past few weeks that I can recall was we had a very successful physician meeting a few weeks ago. And I identified that success by the good attendance, and they always have to, I organize a set of speakers that present clinical information to the physicians, and then there's evaluation forms and feedback. And it was the first meeting we had. I mean, all the evaluation forms were very positive feedback. So it was one of the most successful meetings we had, and just getting physicians together, facilitating the discussion, which sometimes can be a challenge because they want to talk over each other. But overall, it was a very good meeting, and that was reflected by the evaluation forms that we got. And then one anticipated success, I'm hoping in the next few weeks. I was recently asked to play the piano in a wedding. The bride and groom kind of waited till the last minute and didn't have someone prepared. And I don't really play the piano much anymore. I used to play it all the time. So I'm a little nervous about it, but I've started practicing and it looks like it's going to come together. So hopefully that will come off successfully. Playing for a wedding is kind of a big deal. It's a lot of music and you have to coordinate with the soloist, and I'll get a little nervous, I'm sure. So I'm hoping with a little more practice that I can pull that off. Well, we'll pull it off. It won't be perfect, but that's hopefully will be successful. So I think that's it.
Okay. I had down that you're very responsible just because you've learned to manage having kids, being married and working, and then returning to get your bachelor's. Hardworking, dedicated, very patient and organized, and then caring and respectful because you always are caring on like what other people are gonna think of whatever, like that task at hand.
Yep. Sure.
Well, I had a lot of what Olivia said, but I also said you're pretty much a role model. You're kind of, I mean,
that's the best compliment somebody could have.
Yeah, you're like a role model, I feel like, in a professional setting and like a personal setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I just, I don't know, lots of experience, I guess. Get you there. You'll all be there one day.
One day.
Yes. All right, Claire, you're up.
Okay. Well, one of my first successes is I got a 142 out of 150 on an anatomy test, and that was cool. I don't know. I was actually really surprised when I saw that grade. I thought she put someone else's grade in. I was like, okay, it was like the bones and the muscles too. So I was like, wow, okay.
150 points, that's a big test.
Yeah. And so I was really surprised with that. And reasons why I was successful, I was like studying every day. I had flashcards, I had study groups. I was doing like the stupid, like, I don't know. I had like there's like little things that I just like memorize words, like trying to think. Oh, and there's a part in the brain, and it's like the carotid, and I call it something macaroni, and that's how I remember it because it looks like a macaroni. And it's just like little things like that, how I memorize stuff, and just goofy things. And another thing that I had successful, I went to Iowa State for 2 years before going to Mercy, and I've been in band since I was in 5th grade. And then I was in the marching band at Iowa State, and my freshman year, the military bands aren't big enough to do like the D-Day celebrations anymore, so they choose college bands every year to do it. So Iowa State was chosen my freshman year, so 2015, 2016, to go to France to do the celebrations. So I made the France band, and then somehow I actually, out of the 110 of us, out of 350 that made it, I made the 30 of us out of the 110 to make the band that actually played in the cemeteries. So that was crazy because somehow out of the 7 of us that went in my section, a baritone, there were 4 music majors and 2 music majors, and then myself playing the cemeteries. And I'm like, I'm not a music major, and I'm the only girl, and I don't know how I'm playing in the cemetery right now, but okay, I messed up my audition, but Okay, I'm here right now.
That's awesome. What an
So
experience.
I
Yeah.
was, yeah, there was two freshmen, and then I was the only girl out of seven of us. And they all called me mom because they would get hangry and I threw snacks at them because they'd forget to eat. So I said I practiced a lot and I had a positive attitude, but I really think it's just because I was a really good leader and I was on time. And I guess I owned up to my mistakes and I never like made excuses because like I messed up my audition. I didn't even check the board when they posted results for who was going to France. I didn't even know until a week later that I made the France band. I just tried out on a whim until someone texted me congrats and I was like, what? Like I just tried out to try out. And then not only did I make that band, I made the smaller, more inclusive band. Like, okay. I was like, whatever. Okay.
That's awesome.
I know.
Awesome.
And then so I also include that as my most, I think, successful experience just because it was unexpected. And then two, I think it was just because of my positive attitude and just like willingness to like kind of do whatever.
Yep.
And then this one is also one of my 3 successes. And during the past few weeks are teaching my Zumba classes. Because I was really nervous during my first Zumba class because one, you're like up there, you're by yourself, you're in front of these people you don't really know, you're kind of dancing, you're trying to teach these people who aren't very good at dancing. Most of my little ladies are like from their 30s to their 60s and they don't really know how to dance and I'm dancing to like Jason Derulo and doing some Latin and some salsa and they don't really know what they're doing. They kind of blame you. They're not getting it. So it's kind of stressful and I've been getting really, really good. And this past Saturday I had a really awesome class and then tonight it was super fun. And I think it's just because I've been practicing a lot and I've kind of been going with just have fun attitude. Like it's okay if you mess up. Like tonight I messed up, but my girls kept doing the right move and I was like, yeah, like wait, like students being the teacher, like, and I credited them and they like started laughing and I was like, yeah, just have fun. And so,
That's awesome.
yeah, and then one anticipated success in the next few weeks. Good grades in microbiology and human physiology, my last 2 prereqs.
Yep. I hope you get those too.
Well, yeah, I think that's it for me.
Well, clearly you've had a lot of successes, and carrying the workload that you're doing right now is a success in itself. So, but from what I can see, you obviously care about being successful. It's meaningful. I mean, it's important for you to get the good grades. You work hard to get it. You're creative in how you make yourself successful.
Mm-hmm.
I think your attitude does take you a long way. You're positive, you're energetic. You obviously care about others and think about their needs. So, and you did a really good job expressing your different successes and different variety of successes. So very nice.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I accidentally hit mute, so I wasn't sure.
I hit me earlier to yell at my boyfriend.
I add that you're very dedicated, organized, a good leader, honest. Like one example is being when you were for the band and that you messed up in your audition and that you like owned up to that. You're willing to do anything that's in front of you and you have a very positive attitude.
Yeah, it was a glorious mess up too. Like I played the completely wrong note and I stopped in my audition and I laughed. I looked at my director and I was like, wow, that was bad. And he was like, yeah, it was. You can stop now.
Well, I guess being able to laugh at yourself too.
Oh, God.
You have to find the humor in some of these things.
Oh, it was fun. And like we called that director, like he was kind of chubby and we called him Big Papa. It was the best. And we would sing the song like, we love it when you call me Big Papa. And that's what we sang to him all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Marching band is a riot, man.
Yeah. Well, you obviously like to take some risks too and get you into some interesting situations that you wouldn't get to do otherwise. So that's impressive. Good job, girls, both of you. Okay, so step 3 is, as a team, it says to spend some time discussing your reactions and experiences. What thoughts and feelings were stimulated by the experience, and how did each of you respond to the impact of giving and receiving positive feedback? In some ways, you were giving and receiving gifts from each other. What did it cost you to do so? And why don't we do this more often within the team we are a part of? In what ways was your team's climate, trust, support, cohesion affected by this experience? Anyone want to start? Have any thoughts?
Well, I feel like for like the ways that the group's climate was affected, that it like got us like we were able to understand and like get to know each other better, which would help the climate of the group.
Yeah, I certainly feel comfortable. Talking to you guys. Sometimes it's hard to express your own successes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a bit of a risk taking because is someone else going to see that success the same way? You know, as I was saying, how do people define success differently? But, you know, even just after the first group project that we did, that I feel comfortable. So I think that made it easier for me to do this assignment with you guys. And sometimes sometimes it's even hard for me to get positive feedback. I don't know why, but I don't know. But when you're comfortable with your group, then that's easier.
Yeah, it helped that we were comfortable with each other, that we were able to give the feedback that we did. I think that helped.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're all not afraid to like laugh and have fun too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not just like
easier.
Not just like boring. Like especially me, like I laugh at myself all the time. Like I told you, like most people wouldn't be like, oh, you made that big a mistake. Like, yeah, I made that big a mistake. I thought it was funny. I do weird stuff all the time. Like I'm gonna own up to it because I think it's funny.
And it didn't end up hurting you. I mean,
obviously not. I somehow ended up in Paris for a week.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I think the purpose of the experience of this assignment too is, you know, to make sure that we are giving each other those positive feedback, the positive feedback, and focusing on the positives and not being held back by, like Claire. She was not held back by her mistake in her audition. You know, you can't let those things, you know, hold you back. So.
I think it also helped with like listening too, because sometimes it's hard to focus like with listening on like a video chat.
Yes.
And like, I don't know, I mean, I think you can tell with my personality, I get distracted easily. And obviously, I mean, maybe you can't, but so that's why I kind of went in this room so I didn't have my dog like running across the screen like what's happened before. But I think focusing, since it was easier to have like one person talking for like a long amount of time, that was easier too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, important as we, you know, work in small groups, whether it's in your personal, professional life, and whether it's in person or with technology like this, being able to, you know, show your attentiveness and respond appropriately and still get something out of the group, whatever you're doing, whether it's a meeting or a project or whatever. So.
Right. And I think it definitely helped me because I'm not the type of person that will voice my opinion. I'm not.
Oh, really?
I don't like to share.
Yeah. Well, that does get easier with more experience and, you know, and obviously easier as you know who you're meeting with. But
that helps that it is such a small group.
Yeah. 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 And you'll grow with that, but don't be afraid because you definitely have it in you, but you know, obviously you're so young, you haven't had to do this much, but it does get easier.
Right.
Yeah. Like when I talked about my one success of the physician meeting, you know, a few years ago, I would have never felt comfortable trying to manage a group of physicians in a meeting. And after practice, you figure it out. So
Right.
Well, see, it's weird. Like sometimes I have such a fear of public speaking.
Oh, I do.
And
Talking
it's like most people wouldn't think that about me, but it just depends on like what I'm talking about and like who I'm with.
Yes.
If I have like, I don't know, I think it just depends. If I have like a good group of people like with me and I have like a good topic, but if I'm on a topic that I am not comfortable with, or like if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just be like, I get really awkward and my voice gets weird and I like get shaky. And most people like they like meet me and they're like, you don't talk in public, and I'm like, like I'll shut down.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing to do either. And I think, again, that was part of this assignment so that we remember, that other speakers may be in that position. So we still want to show them, the attentiveness and the positive nonverbal feedback while they're speaking to help. Because I know I've been in that position too, and your heart's racing, your voice is shaking, and everybody's just staring at you, and no emotion, or they're totally distracted with something else, and then it's hard to keep going. So
yeah, I think my Zumba class has been helping me a lot.
Yeah,
because I have to like talk to them at the beginning, and I'm like, there's like 7 of you I don't know, and now I like actually know some of them, so it's not as bad.
But at least they're there by choice, right?
Yeah.
So that should be a positive for you.
Like for me, like coming from like a small high school, like we all went to school all 12 years together.
Oh, sure.
It was always really scary, like because you would think that like you don't want your friends to think one thing of you, and you don't like you're scared of what they're gonna say because you're gonna see them all the time.
Yes.
So that's what's nice about this is like I haven't been with you guys for 12 years. So
how big was your class?
I graduated with 59.
59?
Yeah.
Wait, how much?
59.
I was like 498 out of like 503. I don't even know some people who walked across the stage.
There's like not even 400 in my whole high school.
Right. That's how I was.
My senior year, the kindergarten class was like 1,300.
Great.
Yeah, I went to a small school too, Olivia. I knew everybody in my high school.
I live in a small town now, and I love it. I live in Madrid now.
Yeah.
But I went to Waukee.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certainly benefits, to each, to a bigger school and to a smaller school. So.
Get me out of the big school.
Well, I just know for my kids, they go to Ankeny Centennial, and they have a lot more opportunities than I had going to a small school.
Yeah, you definitely get more out of it.
Right. So, okay, the last part of the assignment we do as individuals, but so it's a reflection paper. So hopefully you all took some notes so that you can reflect back and write about the experience. You're supposed to include what did you think and feel in, through, and as a result of this experience, in what ways you were positively impacted, how effective was this with our communication and listening? Do you think you were an effective contributor? And then what did you learn about the dynamics and importance of effective team communication? So we're each supposed to do a 2 to 3 page reflection, but I didn't see a Dropbox. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I didn't see a Dropbox for this assignment, so I'll have to shoot him an email.
All the way at the bottom, but I think he has it listed weird.
Okay. I saw a place to post the video link.
Yeah. I think it like says like group analysis paper or something.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same thing.
Okay. Well, I will check on it, and I think that's due by Monday. So anything else for this assignment for our success bombardment? We were bombarded with successes. So we do have to be thinking about a team name, and I don't know if you guys read through the next group project that we have and be thinking about it, and we might have to touch base. I'm not the creative person, I'll tell you that right now, about thinking up a team name or whatever.
Well, I decided the team name for my microbiology class, and they were Team Sloths with a Z, because we all needed a nap that day.
Oh. Well, hopefully we can find something a little more energetic for us. So, but yeah, look at that. And I'm not sure when we'll get together again. It'll probably be the week I'm in Florida, but I'll have my laptop with me and I'll have Wi-Fi so I can connect with you from there. So, all right. Anything else before we sign off?
I think that's good.
All right. Well, good luck with all your classes and we will touch base soon.
Yep. See ya.
See you, girls.